Welcome to iScore Plus Lighting Kit Interactive Module. The iScore Plus Lighting Kit displays a Unity game on the mounted display in portrait and landscape orientation. There are no prerequisites for this course. As a side note, there are two kit types: a retrofit and a full kit. Listed are the part numbers for each. Shown are the recommended documents that can be used to assist with understanding the iScore Plus Lighting Kit. The documents shown can be found on our technical training SharePoint. We've also provided a quick link for you to click. This course covers installation and the lighting for the iScore Lighting Kit. When you've reviewed the topics in each of the subject areas, you'll have access to a short quiz to test your knowledge. For the iScore Plus installation, we will insert the provided USB drive and launch the iScore Plus Setup executable file. Click Next when prompted. Note: the version number may vary depending on the version being installed. Verify and accept the default installation directory and click Next. Our next step requires us to select our sign orientation and game type. Make a selection for each and click Next. Here we will create our username and password for our Enable Auto Login feature. This is created for computer restarts or system reboots. Before proceeding, ensure we select the Enable Login box to place a check mark showing this feature selected. Click Next to continue. We are now ready to start the software installation for the lighting kit. Click Install to start. As shown, part of the installation, the lighting control driver install utility will begin. Click Next to continue. Allow all drivers to download. A green check mark next to all drivers is an indication the drivers were installed successfully. Click Finish once they've all completed. Once the status bar shows complete, click Next to continue. To complete the installation, click Finish. At this point you will be prompted to restart the PC. Click Yes, and the system restarts and the iScore Plus application will launch automatically to allow for the setup of the display. Click on each subject matter for more information. The iScore Plus application deploys onto a PC and can display either vertical or horizontal content. The hardware consists of a small computer, horizontal or vertical display and a keypad. As a reminder, it is recommended that the computer running the iScore Plus software be left in a powered-on state. Failure to properly shut down the computer can lead to increased startup times when the computer is subsequently powered up. When setting up the iScore Plus, the sign PC needs to be within the same subnet as the iShoe Auto. As demonstrated, if the iShoe has a subnet of 255.255.255.0, then the subnet for the PC needs to be the same. The primary function of the iScore gives the user a visual on the 24-inch horizontal or vertical display. The four main roles allows it to be informative, which includes both minimum and maximum bets allowed at a baccarat table. It is interactive with features like card play between banker and player and winning score animation and trends. It keeps historical data related to previous rounds played, including the Chinese dice pit and trend roads and prediction tables. Lastly, it is flexible. With the ability of vertical or horizontal orientation, this provides the maximum flexibility. Within Show Game Options, the user can determine which effects will be used for the trend and status lights. Note: if win videos are disabled on the operation panel, game outcomes will not be celebrated on the lighting display. Streak light patterns are used to confirm how the segments on the trend light fill when a trend is in progress. Depending on the trend options selected will determine how it will react. As shown, depending on the effect the user desires, you have four options to choose from: None, Outside In, Inside Out or Scoreboard. Minimum streak determines when the trend bar starts, indicating that a trend is in progress. Streaks shorter than the set length do not cause the trend bar to illuminate. This will also affect when the chasing dragon animation will play. Long streak indicates the cutoff for a long streak. Once the length of a streak passes this cutoff value, the entire trend bar will illuminate regardless of the length of the streak to indicate that a major streak is occurring. In an effort to give instruction on how to successfully install the display, this instruction will identify the kit numbers for both the vertical and horizontal installation. Show an exploded diagram for both vertical and horizontal displays. show a listing of all recommended tools needed to perform this task, and give instruction on how to assemble a display properly. As being shown here, the kit numbers vary depending on the orientation. If the display is an existing sign on the customer's floor, you will order the retrofit kit. Otherwise, you will order the full kit, using the part numbers shown here. As being depicted here, we see the exploded view of the horizontal display. This is a representation of how this particular display is assembled. As being depicted here, we see the exploded view of the vertical display. This is a representation of how this particular display is assembled. To successfully complete this job, you need the suggested tools. Number 2 tip: screwdriver, wire cutters, 5.5mm nut driver, needle nose pliers, and wire ties. As a safety precaution, it is suggested you have at least 2 people to perform this task. This makes the job much easier and saves on time. The following slides will demonstrate how to disassemble a vertical display, and this will be an existing sign at a casino location. Remember, it is suggested you have at least 2 people to disassemble this display. To get started, let's disconnect all cables coming from the table to the sign display. It appears much easier to follow this process instead of trying to remove the sign from the pole it is currently mounted to. There should be 2 cables total: your display cable and the power cable. Do understand there could be wire ties holding all these wires together, so you may need your wire cutters to complete this process. Let hang freely once all are disconnected. Next, using your number 2 tip, Phillips screwdriver, remove the 6 screws located at the bottom of the sign. Each screw has been highlighted and depicted here. Remember, the process being shown here will apply for both the vertical and horizontal displays. With the sign laying down on a secure area, we can now start removing the original rails and monitor display. Again, using your number 2 Phillips head screwdriver, remove the top and side rails as shown here. You will have a total of 12 screws after all rails have been removed. Place these screws in a secure place for use on the new lighting kit. With all rails removed, we can now remove the monitor. Located on each side, you will find 2 screws securing the monitor to the monitor housing. Note: before removing, you need to ensure you are removing the correct monitor. The way the housing is assembled, all of the control boards are mounted on the housing. By simply looking in between the monitors, orient the monitor to where the housing and boards are on the bottom, before removing the screws for the correct monitor. To disconnect monitor, there are only 2 cables to disconnect. Both are located on the back of the monitor that we are removing. You should see the video input and the power input. Note: when disconnecting both of these cables, you need to be very careful. They're fragile, and trying to remove them incorrectly will create another issue which we want to avoid. To remove the video cable, there are 2 tabs that hold this cable in place. Depress each at the same time and pull down to remove this cable. To remove the power, using a small needle nose plier, pull this cable out. Lastly, disconnect the HDMI and power cable as shown in the photo. Now that everything is disconnected, we can now do the assembly of the lighting kit. The lighting kit consists of the following: frame, iScore top, depending on sign orientation you are working on. In our demonstration we will show the horizontal display kit. You will have the frame, iScore bottom, depending on sign orientation you are working on. The assembly, iScore light bar, large or small. Again, depending on the orientation of sign you are working on, you will have a bracket mounting kit with opening to run cables through. And lastly, the trim corners, for your iScore lighting kit. Just as we did with the disassembly, we will perform the reverse. With wiring harness provided with the lighting kit, lay harness as shown. Ensure the cabling is long enough to ensure connectivity to the light boards. Reconnect the HDMI and power cable. Note: each cable is labeled as shown when doing the orientation and laying the cable in place. Some assembly may be required for the lighting kit light bars, but that is very easy. Using the exploded view, assemble lights as shown. You will need your 5.5mm nut driver to perform this task. After all are assembled, connect the harness as demonstrated earlier to the appropriate light bar. After connecting the video and power cable to the monitor, use your number 2 Phillips screwdriver to secure the monitor to the housing, as shown here. Starting with the top light bar, connect the center cable. Once connected, using 2 of the Phillips screws, secure this light bar to the top of the display as shown here. Performing the same as we did for the top, let's connect the 2 sides and secure them to the display, as shown. Note: when securing the light bars to the monitor, ensure that the cable isn't being pinched anywhere. Final stage: with assistance, pull the HDMI, power and Molex connection through the pole. Using the last 6 screws, secure the monitor assembly to the pole as shown. Install the trim corners and connect all cables to the external power supply and computer. Should errors occur, follow the on-screen instructions where they are very explanatory. This assists in helping with recovering from the error. Typically, recoveries include finishing any in-progress rounds on the iShoe before dismissing the pop-up message on the display. Also, rounds that were not processed by the iScore Plus application due to errors can be manually entered using the keypad. This chart reflects some known issues that could occur. It identifies the symptom, a diagnosis and a solution. Should there be any issue occurring that isn't listed, contact technical support for assistance. The quiz consists of 10 questions. You will have 2 attempts to achieve a passing score. You will receive credit for completing this course when you submit your quiz results. Instructions on how to submit your quiz results will be provided at the end of this course. To take a short quiz on the material in this course, select Start the Quiz. To review the material before starting the quiz, select Review Material. Please note that credit will not be given for taking this course without confirmation of completion. Follow these instructions to get credit for this course. 1. Take a screenshot of this page. 2. Click Create Email. 3. An email message to technical training will open automatically. 4. Paste the screenshot into the email message, or add the screenshot as an attachment. 5. Enter iScore Plus in the subject line and send email. Thank you for your time and attention. Click Exit to end course.